In our side panel, we want to create boxes so users can choose a language and sentiment. To create a drop-down menu, we need an open and close select box where we give it a name of language and the class of advanced. Our very first option is blank, and it just shows users that this is a language drop-down. We can use our database to populate the rest of the options for our language drop-down. We can use similar code for our sentiment drop-down. So copy your language selection code, paste it into the sentiment area, and change language to sentiment. Then we can go into our functions PHP, and underneath our getData function, we can create a new function called getOptions. It's going to take in dbConnect, the table name, the ID field, and the value field. Our first step is to get the options from the database table, either languages or sentiment. So we're going to use the table name and the value field. We can create a query using this SQL, and we can then iterate through the results of our query and populate our dropdown. For each option, we need an open and close tab. Inside our open tab, we have a value, and between the two tabs, we output the name of the language or the sentiment. To correctly put in the value, we need to have two single boxes, then a space, a dot, a space, and a dot. And then inside our two dots, we want to put in the ID field. Make sure that your spacing matches what you see on the screen. We're going to do something similar for our item list, so we can remove that. And once again, you're wanting single speech marks, space dot space, your value field, space dot space. We can then go back into our side panel, and inside our language selection area, we can retrieve the languages by referencing our language table, the language ID, and the language column. And if you look at your advanced options, you'll notice that we have all of the languages appearing, and of course, none of the sentiments. We can retrieve our sentiments by using our getOptions function with the sentiment table, sentiment ID column, and sentiment column. At this point, we also have our sentiments displaying correctly. One thing that I've noticed, though, is that I won't have enough space in my side panel to add in my buttons without it hitting the footer. We can shift our side panel up slightly by going into our untranslatable navigation and change that margin top to 150 pixels. And now when we look at our advanced options, we can see the box nice and clearly. Underneath the close select for my sentiment box, I'm wanting to put in a button. I've applied a number of classes to this button to size it and color it correctly, and I've given it a name of Advanced Search Button. Underneath that button, we've got a horizontal line, and instead of saying Add Entry goes here, we could go ahead and put in an Add Entry button with the correct classes and a name of Add Entry Button. And here's what your side panel should look like. We'll continue this process in the next video.